Everybody, since we are having a fall season and I have lots of roses to the bloom, I'm gonna do another comparison and review video again today. These are all different than the variety that I show you in the previous video that was done in beginning of October. So I just want to show you what are the ones that actually only bloom well in the fall and spring, and what are the ones that will bloom really good throughout the year. Okay, so let's get started. Alright, so the first one, this one right here, is actually a David Austin rose called Heathcliff. Heathcliff is actually a new one for me this year. I planted as a Barock in spring, and so far I think I like this rose quite a lot because they actually bloom pretty well continuously in the summertime for me. Because it's still a new rose, so it doesn't bloom too much yet, but it is blooming, and I like how well the bloom actually looks like. It's very upright, it's not droopy as you can see, and the color is pretty. It doesn't fade very where I like into like pink color like a lot of the David Austin roses. I really like this one so far. And the fragrance, I don't notice a lot of fragrance, but let me smell it one more time. Yeah, there's not much of fragrance to this one. It's pretty disease resistant as well. It doesn't grow very leggy. So I like this one. So if you're looking for David Austin red rose, this is something that you can definitely consider. This one here is Falstaff. Alright, Falstaff is finally coming around in his third year. So this is a third year, and I planted in 2018 October, and it is grafted on the Futunania rootstock. Falstaff is a very amazing, beautiful bloom rose, and it's very tall actually. I think it grows as tall as 6 feet for me, 6 or 7 feet for me, and 6 or 7 feet wide as well. So if you don't have a lot of space, I don't recommend, because actually it doesn't bloom a lot, so if you don't have it, that's fine. And actually the fragrance is really amazing. I love the fragrance of this rose. It's like very strong old rose fragrance to me, and you should see the petal. It's like you have a lighter pink magenta at the outer edge, and it actually has some white color tinted to it, and then it get darker as it go to the middle. So it's a very sophisticated rose, and it's really good for cutting as well because it doesn't droop. It doesn't have a droopy neck like a lot of David Austin rose. So I mean, if you have space, you have patience, go for it. If you don't have patience, you don't have space, don't get Falstaff, okay? Alright, this is I don't have a lot of stripe rose, though. This is the one Clyber that I have. Is called Raspberry Cream Twirl, and it's also known as the Ina Sastra in the Europe, outside of United States. So this is a fabulous stripe rose. I mean, it has really big bloom, and it actually lasts really long. The stripe is always showing even in the heat, because lots of stripe rose actually is all solid color, or it's not obvious during the summer here. My problem with it is this year, because it's a root knot nematode. I don't know how we get it, but it was planted in the area with root knot nematode, so it got root knot nematode. So I can see the flower production just significantly reduced this year, but it's not its fault, So but again, it has some pretty slight raspberry fragrance to it. So it's not something that you want to grow for fragrance, but it's a very easy to grow climber because it doesn't go everywhere. So it's perfect for the art or obelisk. If you have an obelisk, very nice rose, very disease resistant as well. Here we have a small, this is a Jacques Cartier. Jacques Cartier is a type of rose that bloom in flush, and actually I like how sophisticated the bloom is. You see how the petal, I mean, I like it. I know it's a small bloom, but it's a very compact rose. but it doesn't bloom under the heat, so that is not something you want to get if you want something that bloom under the heat. But it's a very nice rose. I do like it a lot. So this is an old garden rose, and it smells really good as well. It's Jacques Cartier. It's a lot bigger bloom in spring for sure. So this is something that you want to grow just for its spring and fall blooms. Okay. Now here, this is actually Pomponella fairy tale. Pomponella fairy tale is it's totally a climber in our area. It's a climber. It's not something that you can grow it for compact size. In fact, all the fairy tale rose want to climb in the south, in the hot area. So yeah, if you want a climber, go for it, because it do last a very long time. It keep bloom the entire year. It bloom especially a lot in the springtime and fall, but it lasts very, very long, so there's a plus for it. Totally recommend it if there's something that you like. This right here is actually oh yeah, by the way, Pomponella fairy tale do not have a fragrance, so if there's something that you're looking for, don't get it. So this one right here is Belinda's Dream. All right, so Belinda's Dream is a rose that will bloom very, very well even under the heat. Mine is not a very strong one, but I know my friend in Mobile that has she grow the same rose, and it grow really well in her garden. So just I have a weak root stock on mine. I got mine from Lowe's. You know, I probably will not get roses from Lowe's anymore because it just always got sick. But it has some nice raspberry fragrance, and the strength is actually getting better as it age. But if you want a bloomer for landscape, this is a rose for you. It's called Belinda's Dream. This is my brain. This is my Huntington, my favorite Huntington. So Huntington is a rose that actually, when it blooms, it droop like this. So it's a kind of rose that actually look nicer when it droop than when it's face up. I really like this rose a lot because it is truly a bloom machine. It bloom and bloom and bloom, and when it bloom, it's just the entire plant. It doesn't bloom one here and there. Okay, it doesn't last very long, but it's just fabulous. When it's a fabulous looking rose, I would definitely recommend one because I like it. I think it's very special. So definitely something that you can look into. This right here is my Spirit of Freedom. I hope you can see how gorgeous it is. Spirit of Freedom always steal my heart. It's the most romantic rose, in my opinion, in my garden. It's so romantic. I just love it so much, and I can show you real quick how it looks like right now with the shrub. Give me a second. All right, you see that? You see that? That is Spirit of Freedom right now. You see how it's actually full of bloom. And in fact, this is the only climber that is bloom all the time, the entire summer for me, like all the time. So you know, you want something like that. If you want a climber that will bloom and bloom and bloom, this is for you. But it's not very healthy rose. It gets black spot a lot, but when it's so high up there, you can't really see it. You can't really see it. It's so high up there. Something I would definitely recommend this rose for the hot area, especially a hot and dry area. Okay. Next one I have here is a French rose from NIRP called La Fontaine aux Perles. I finally say the name right. All right, so this is a really, really good cut rose. So for anybody that is looking for a cut rose, this is the one for you. And it actually grows pretty tall because it has very long stem, which is a good quality for the cut rose. It is actually a lot more vigorous than Francis Meilland, which I'm going to show you later. And it smells so good. This bloom will last for a week at home. this is how good this rose is. I'm very happy that I get it because I love this color a lot. And the fragrance is more like, let me smell it one more time, just make sure I got it. You see how long is this? This is not even the longest. I can't even describe. It's like perfume. So Paladin Rose I bought it. That's where I get it from. Is from Paladin Rose. It actually continued to bloom in the summertime as well, just not that many, not that much. And the bloom is a lot smaller. But look at that color. Look at that shade. Oh my god, this is so good, and it's so healthy as well. I don't have problem with it at all. So this is definitely a rose that I would consider you to consider in your garden in the south as well. All right, next we have this is our everybody's favorite what do you call this? Princess Charlene de Monaco. Princess Charlene de Monaco actually do not have a lot of petal count. But it's a very beautiful, ruffly, romantic rose. The bloom is big. My only problem with it is, first of all, it doesn't bloom very well in the heat. Second of all, is it opens way too fast in the heat. Way too fast. So that's the part I don't like it. Even when I put it in the house, it doesn't last very long, probably about 3-4 days as well, and it will just open and fade into white color. Not something, it will not stay like this for a long time, so that's just something to consider. I know a lot of people love it. I'm okay. I'm not saying like you got to have this rose, honestly. The next we have this is Lady of the Mist. Lady of the Mist is, for me, in my opinion, it's a very special rose that I think everyone should give it a try. I love the two-tone color too. You see how it's orange in the middle, and then it becomes pink color at the end. And it actually has it bloom in cluster. It's very upright. You can see it's upright. I don't have much problem with it. It wants to grow wide instead of tall, so there's something that you can consider. It's not especially vigorous, but it's okay. It's not bad at all. So, and the fragrance is good as well. So it's more like a tea fragrance. So that is something that I would definitely think that you should try if you want to. I mean, it continues to bloom. It just doesn't bloom so much in the heat, but it still continues to bloom. All right. Right here I have this is a Crazy Love. Crazy Love is a gorgeous rose. There's no doubt about it. Look at that color. It lasts so long. It get really big. You know, this color is really pop in the garden. However, my problem with it is it doesn't bloom a lot for me. I don't know if it's because it doesn't like the location, and it grows really tall, like very tall. I think about 6-7 feet. It's just a straight upright rose, and it just bloom at the end of it. So if it has space, you don't mind it doesn't bloom a lot, I mean, definitely something you can consider. I don't think I will like highly recommend it, but it is a beautiful rose for sure. Okay, when it blooms, it's really nice. So that is Crazy Love. Now I picked State of Grace and Fun in the Sun just to do a comparison of the two for you. I know I showed you Fun in the Sun in the previous video, but I think State of Grace and Fun in the Sun actually share a lot of similarity, and I think it's fun to actually tell you the difference. First of all, State of Grace. This is Fun in the Sun. You see how in the Fun in the Sun, it actually has a pink inner petal and the orange outer petal. Now, State of Grace is the reverse. It has the pink outer petal and the yellow or the gold color inner petal. So it's almost like these two roses is like reverse the color. You see that? You see how it looks like reverse there? It's pretty cool. I mean, their growth habit is similar, except I think State of Grace, the bloom, you see how it doesn't stay that globular like the Fun in the Sun. So it open flat and it has less petal as well. So I hope you see the difference between these two roses. It's just so interesting how they can be like opposite of each other, you know. So that is something that is, I think, is so cool to see when you look at it together. State of Grace, let me smell the fragrance. We know the Funny the Sun has a very nice fragrance. Okay, State of Grace has a medium tea fragrance to it. So that's something to consider. All right, here, this is Barock. Barock is also a Tantau rose. And actually, I love this rose a lot because it just doesn't need any care. It just blooms when it want to bloom. And when it blooms, it blooms a lot. I mean, where do you get this color rose? And I will show you how big it is, actually. You see how huge is the bloom? This is another Barock that I picked up actually 2 days ago. You see how big? And it lasts so long in the vase as well. And on the bush. Not something that's hard to manage. This is always so very vigorous, but it also doesn't go everywhere. I love it a lot, so something to consider if you can access to it. This is everybody's favorite. It's called Sweet Mademoiselle. Sweet Mademoiselle is a bloomer. I mean, I love it because it looks like this even in the middle of a summer heat. And it smells very good. It has a very strong fruit fragrance. Now, the only thing is, it actually doesn't last too well on the bush. It will last a lot longer if you cut it and bring it inside the house. It's a great cut rose. I can show you. Look at how cool the stem is. You know, it's a very strong stem rose, but it actually a lot better as a cut rose than on the bush for me. The repeat is pretty slow for me actually, but I'm not sure because at the spot at where it is actually doesn't receive a lot of sun. Maybe that's the reason why. But it's definitely an easy rose to grow. I would recommend it for sure if you are in a high heat area. The next one is Jude the Obscure. So this Jude the Obscure is something that I got this year as a Barock. I gotta say, after I compare the rootstock from K&M and David Austin, because I have a K&M Jude last year, I would have to say it grew a lot better in the Fortunania root. So it just looked different. It had a lot more petal when it's on Fortunania. Maybe it can get more water from the Fortunania rootstock. I'm not sure. The petal is just a lot more, but it smells so good. I will grow this rose just for the fragrance alone because it has a very nice, sweet, fruity fragrance to it. It's just not just any kind of fruity fragrance. It's just very strong and very, very beautiful fruity fragrance to it. Okay. This is actually Oshun. So Oshun is always been used to compare with Abraham Darby because I can definitely see the similarity between the two. But I got to say, Abraham Darby is a much better rose than Oshun because Abraham Darby actually bloom a lot more than Oshun. The bloom is a lot bigger. Also, it lasts a lot longer. And this one actually can get bald pretty easily if it rains a lot. It's not something that I would recommend. Definitely not something I would recommend for the hot and humid area. I mean, if you say Abraham Darby is not healthy, this is even worse. So, yeah, stick with Abraham Darby if you can. I mean, it's still a beautiful rose, but it's not something that I would recommend, okay, for our area. All right, next I have Ambridge. Okay, Ambridge is a new rose that I grew this year from David Austin Beirut. Oh, I don't know. This rose, I don't see it as a strong rose yet. It doesn't bloom a lot, honestly. And when it blooms in flash, of course. I mean, it just doesn't last. I mean, it probably will open up 2 days and then it's gone. So it's not something that is, I would not say that you got to have it. It has a myrrh fragrance to it as well. So if you have like myrrh fragrance, you don't like myrrh fragrance, this is not for you. Quite weak, I would say, the growth. I mean, it's still very small. bush and they always die back and always has black spot on it. I mean, I don't know. I would observe for another year. It's still a young rose anyway, so hopefully it will get better next year. I will keep you guys updated on that. Alright, so this is the Endeavor. Endeavor is my favorite, another one of my favorite David Austin discontinued rose. Oh, I love it so much. It bloom and bloom and bloom, and it's just so special. I like the bloom a lot. It has this salmon undertone to it. I don't know if you can see. It's of course a lot better looking when the feather is cool. I mean, this is actually pretty spent. I think it's about 2 days old bloom. Definitely a rose that I love. If you can find it, like I know somebody in Australia probably able to find this rose, definitely get it. It's amazing. It's an amazing rose. All right, next I have Koko Loco. So this is Koko Loco after it is fully open. I love Koko Loco. I think Koko Loco looks really good even when it's fully open. It has this silvery mauve grayish tone to it. It's just so special. Okay, it's definitely something that I recommend if you can get it. And it bloom and bloom and bloom and bloom. The only thing is it doesn't have fragrance, but it blooms a lot and the shrub is beautiful. And look at that color. I mean, how many of you have the roses this color in your yard? It's just very, very rare. So definitely something, please get it if you can. It's a really, really good one. The next one I have Bishop Castle. Oh, I love Bishop Castle. Bishop Castle just smells so good. And look at that petal. It has this nice reverse petal. They are like to darker pink at the outside and lighter pink at the inside. It gives it a very nice, layering effect to it. But it smells so good. It smells even better than Jacques. Okay. Nice to use to eat. If you want to eat it, you can, because the petal is very soft and very thin. It doesn't taste bitter. So there is something, any bloom and bloom and bloom doesn't stop. Even in the heat doesn't stop. It just doesn't last. But it bloom a lot, so I can forgive it if it doesn't last. Okay. Now the next one I have is a Plum Perfect. This is how Plum Perfect looks like. I think it's a gorgeous, gorgeous rose. I think it's so dark right now. Let me adjust it. It's a bloomer. It blooms in flush, but it doesn't bloom a lot in the heat, I have to say. Okay, so I'm not sure if I want to keep this row because this row actually is infected with root knot nematode as well. I might just pull it out and just put it somewhere else so I don't need to deal with root knot nematode. But we shall see. I might put it in a pot too. I just maybe prune it way down and put it in a pot. We'll see how it looks like in the springtime if it will survive. Okay. The next I have, this is a pretty rare rose that not much of people talk about it. It's called Charles de Gaulle. Charles de Gaulle is actually a hybrid tea rose. It's a purple hybrid tea rose. I would not really recommend this one because it just doesn't bloom very well for me. I gotta be honest, it doesn't bloom very well for me. It is beautiful, but it doesn't bloom well. So if it doesn't bloom well, nah, we can go something else. It doesn't have fragrance as well, so it's not something very great. Like, there's not much of great quality on it. So yeah, it's okay. You can skip this one if you're in a hot area. Totally. This one here is Orchid Romantica. Orchid Romantica is a bloomer. It is certainly a bloomer. It has this very fluffy form to it with a button in the middle. It fades into purple color, really, and it's just something. It smells very, very good, but it's very thorny as well. So it's just something that if you want a shrub rose that bloom a lot, this is for you. It actually bloom really well even in the summertime, but it doesn't last. So if you don't want a maintenance after it bloom, which is deadheading, don't get it. Okay. The next I have is a classic. This is called Francis Meilland. Alright, Francis Meilland is not heat friendly, guys. Francis Meilland is a huge bloom. It has big bloom, beautiful bloom, very nice fragrance, smell really good, but it doesn't bloom under the heat. Even if its bloom is all white, like it will turn all white and the petal is a lot less within hours. So, and it's very tall because it's a nice cut flower. So it can grow tall. So you have to really whack it out, you know, from time to time so that it doesn't grow so crazy tall. But it's a beautiful rose. I'll definitely will keep it because I don't mind it only bloom nice for spring and fall. I just don't look at it in the summertime. But it's a very nice rose to have, really. So Francis Meilland, if you if you want something that bloom a lot, don't get this rose. It doesn't at all. Next I have Crocus. Crocus is a David Austin rose. That is a bloom machine for sure. You don't really need to do anything to it. You don't even need to deadhead it. It will just keep bloom and bloom and bloom. So that is one good quality about it. Now the not so good quality about it is it doesn't last so long. It is a smaller bloom actually. If you compare among David Austin rose, but it's beautiful. I love that I don't need to do anything to it, which is great. I mean, I save my time in that heading because I don't have time when it's so big. It's a very big shrub. It grows so big. If you don't have time, you don't have the space, you can skip this one, but if you have the space, I would definitely recommend this rose because you don't even need to deadhead it. It will just bloom, you know. The next I have, this is a very rare one. It's also another Tantau rose. It's called Bearden. I want to like this rose so much, but it's a very weak rose. I'm not sure if it will survive my garden this year because I still only left one cane. If your area is not so wet and hot, I would think you should try it because it's a very cute rose. It stays compact. But yeah, I wish I don't know. I hope it will survive my winter this year. I will tell you later. Let's see the fragrance. Okay, the fragrance is nothing much to mention, just regular tea fragrance, nothing much really. But it lasts very long on the bush, actually, very thick petal, actually. Okay, so there you go. This is Bearden. All right, this is Meal on the Frost from David Austin. This rose, I want to love it so much because it is beautiful. But I cannot. I probably give it until next spring. If it still doesn't bloom well, then I will have to remove it because I'm serious, it doesn't bloom very well at all. I mean, this is the second time it bloomed for me this year, and the first time is in spring and it doesn't bloom a lot, so it also looks like this. So you know, I don't know, it needs big, it take up a lot of space, so doesn't have blood fragrance as well, but it's special. Look at the petals, so it's special. So I don't know, I give it 3 years. It's a 3-year rules. I give it 3 years. If it's not doing well in the 3 years, it's gone. So that's all I have for you all today. I hope you like it as well. So let's see what else I have later on that I can continue to show you what I have. Later when it's bloom, I'll keep doing this comparison video when I have lots of roses blooming right now. So let me know what you think about it, and if you have any questions, again, leave it in the comment and I will try my best to answer. All right, there you go. Thank you. Bye.
I tried to give away all I had, My mind was full of my mistakes. I've been too fragile through my life, and I'm missing you so bad. Don't know if I should call you back. You know it's getting dark inside my head. I feel there's something that is stopping me now. Feel there's something that is. Feel there's something that is. Feel there's something that is stopping me now. Oh. And I try to forget all what I had, but is my mind really gonna cut you out? I feel like no prayers are gonna help myself. No, don't know if I should call you back. You know it's getting dark inside my head. I feel there's something that is stopping me now. Feel there's something that is. Feel there's something that is. Feel there's something that is stopping me now. Oh.